Going to be addressing pain and physical issues. So hopefully we're not actually on our last legs. But Rob, you have got a leg thing, haven't you? That you want to.
It's an arm.
Or was it an arm thing? Arm. Yeah. Sorry, I'm obsessed with legs. But okay. I'll start again. I think. Pain. EFT on pain. What we're going to do is teach you the very basic principles of how you would go about working with a pain or physical discomfort. Either for yourself, so we'll be talking about it as applied to yourself, but the same principle applies if you're working with a client or if you're working with a friend or whatever. And there are just 3 very simple rules about how you set up the language to use to work with pain. And what seems to be possible with EFT is that even pains that haven't really responded to any kind of treatment, including medication, even surgery, will sometimes shift by applying the tapping in a very specific way. There's lots of anecdotal evidence of pains literally vanishing, not necessarily with people that have a vast amount of experience, but just by kind of following some simple rules, which we'll go over in a moment, and we'll set this up and we'll just try it out again in our spirit of experimentation and see what happens. So one thing that I would say is just if you can think of something that you want to work on now, either a pain or a physical discomfort, don't rule anything out. If you happen to have had something that you've had for 15 years or whatever, let's just try it out now, just because we can, and we'll find out what happens. So how we're going to go about this is really just by going in at the physical level. We're going to describe the physical very specifically, and we're going to start tapping with that. Probably the question that most people have, because we've been working with this sort of link between the emotional and the physical right up until now, is about to what extent our emotional state contributes to physical pain, or even disease states and so on. We through the experience, Emma and I, having had the experience over, getting on for 15 years of working with tapping, we would now say that the emotional and the physical are one. They're just sort of different ways of approaching a state of imbalance. And sometimes, our systems will manifest a problem that appears to be more obviously emotional, and at other times it will appear to be more obviously physical. So I think when we first started teaching this, we used to say something like, sometimes there's an emotional contributor, and be kind of quite hesitant about it. I hardly even make the distinction in my own mind now between the manifestation of emotional form and physical form. So just to say that. But in terms of actually being practically effective with this work, it often is best to work with the physical manifestation, because it gets us out of all that kind of analytical, articulating, that sort of negative labyrinth that we can kind of get sucked down into, which then can quite often just sort of take us away from the real message that our bodies are already giving us. And why not just go straight in there, be more direct when we can. Where it's like if our body's giving us a physical message, that's the way to go. And it's only when there isn't really anything obvious showing up that we start to sort of dig around and ask questions that find another way in to get started.